Okay, good evening, everybody. The time is 6:30. I'll now open up open public comment. Views expressed by individuals during public comment do not necessarily reflect the views of the city of Fremont and have not been verified for accuracy by the city. As a reminder, city council and staff are not permitted to respond to comments or questions during the public comment period in accordance with Fremont Municipal Code 2-103. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person and shall not contain topics included on this evening's agenda. So if you are here and would wish to speak, please come up and sign in up here at the front. Looks like we already got a speaker. And or there's comment cards right here in the box if you wish to fill that out too. Good, yeah. Getting into routine and so I think we had our parent teacher conference already. They're learning and growing. Each of them have their strengths and weaknesses. So, but they're good kids. Yeah. Yep. Sarah's really growing up. So, she's our fifth grader, getting to be a young lady almost. Hannah's in third. They have a pretty small class. They have about 11, so it's very small. Sarah's has it like 19. So they go up to eighth grade. Yeah, yeah. And Ava's in kindergarten. She's pretty friendly. Yes, that's right. Yes, that's right. You know, me. Where's Quinn going to kindergarten? Oh, Cedar. Okay. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's cool. No, they're fun at that age. They're finally kind of starting to put sentences, get thoughts together. She has some great friends. The social is almost as important as anything else. Getting around other kids, learning how to play, and they're not being with your sister, being with somebody else. Right. Yep. No, and then Joseph's just kind of along for the ride right now. 1.5. Yeah. 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 He had spaghetti tonight, so it was about everywhere. It was everywhere, and I think that so it's all good. You cherish those things. Oh, okay, yes. Oh, that's awesome. That is cool. Good for them. That is a fun restaurant, isn't it? Because we used to have one in Omaha, maybe, when it closed. Yeah, right. I think it closed, right? Okay. That Oakview area has kind of gone down a little bit. Yeah, I agree. Yep, yep. Hmm. 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 Wow. For sure. Yeah, I know. Oakview, that area is a lot of memories there. A lot of. I feel like West Roads has always been the place to go for me, but like Oakview when it was humming was just as good. Yeah, all that. Yeah, Omaha. Yeah, it's kind of changed. I mean, it's so much more west now. You don't have to go into that far anymore to get, and the indoor mall is kind of going away. But you wonder, like, well, I wonder, will that ever come back? These things kind of cycle a little bit. And I love Village Point. It's nice. I mean, it's really nice. But I guess people don't mind being outside, which even in the winter, totally. Again, and you're paying for that. You don't really have to do that with the outside. Oh yeah, I'm sure we'll be there with a lot with the girls. But I saw Marshall's the sign. Looks like they got some of the sign backing up today. So, and I did receive notice that they're for sure tearing down the state. So Brian Riley, yeah. So I mean, they have to. So, well, that'll be good. Right. Who is? Okay. 1.2. Oh, I isn't it funny? So no, I mean it's really a way to attract large development, industrial development. And it's like it's a site development tool is how I would explain it because we're basically just we set aside ground for industrial development that is zoned, and the idea is that Omaha is more landlocked, and if you want to have a larger development, scale development or industrial plant, Fremont makes a lot of sense because of access to workforce. We have the land, our utility, we have water, good water. We have more power than anybody right now, really. So it's hard to, but if you hear the word port authority, it's like, yeah, it's like the movement of goods and logistics and all that. And it can be that, but you got to have, but like no one is coming in to work it right now to buy a house. So right, yeah. And I get that. But I told you guys it's probably hard to understand. Right. The revenue bond. We're not calling meetings. The big thing to me is so much legwork has gone on this and so much, and it's one of those things we may look up in 20, 30 years, and who knows if what I'm doing at that point, but or and then we're gonna see all the fruit is gonna happen kind of later. But we kind of are building the foundation of it and getting the word out, and people don't understand. But it has that opportunity, and I know like OPPD is very excited about it. Mayor Ewing, mayor of Omaha, I was on a couple of panels with him a couple of weeks ago, and I talked about it. And he was kind of even interested, like Fremont and Omaha need to talk about how we can help with growth. Okay, the time is 7 o'clock. I'll close public comment and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Go ahead and open up the Board of Equalization meeting and call it to order. The Opens Meeting Act is posted on the back wall next to the agendas. This time we'll have roll call for the Board of Equalization meeting.
7 members are present, Mayor.
Our item on the agenda tonight is Resolution 2025-246, levying a special tax and assessment in the amount of $473.74 against the owner of 1440 East 12th Street to pay the cost of weed and debris cleanup and assessment. Any report on this?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, City Council, Michael Chatterson, City Clerk. This is a nuisance abatement lien. So code enforcement ordered the property to abate the nuisance. They did not. Street Department went and abated the nuisance themselves. And this is simply a request from the Board of Equalization to file a lien against that property so that eventually we'll hopefully collect that recover those costs of the Street Department incurred by going and cleaning that property. So I can take any questions.
Councilman Vaughn.
Yeah, certainly no opposition. I'm sure it was worthy of a cleanup. I believe that we used to get a cursory picture or two of the property in question. So we would have some general idea. Try to drive by them all, but sometimes it doesn't happen. So just to have a picture or two if it's possible. Not a big ask, but that's all I got.
Councilman Horner.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, just a quick question. Do we know anything about the property? Is it still occupied? Do we know one way or the other whether it is? It looks to me, when I looked on the tax rolls, it looks like the tax statements are still being mailed to the property. So the situs and the mailed to address are the same.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, we did get a return receipt for the certified letter, and it was signed by the property owner as best I could tell. So I can kind of at least say that they signed for the letter. So hopefully that kind of clarifies, but that's what we know.
Councilwoman Ganem.
No, it does appear the property has been abandoned and weeds are growing all over and there's still debris in the yards. So I would have almost thought that it wasn't done at this point because it's come back again.
Any other questions for staff? Anybody here from the public to speak on this item? Any additional comments from council? Councilman Horner.
No, Mayor, if there are no comments, I was just going to say I would make a motion that we approve Resolution 2025-246.
Councilwoman Ganem.
Second.
That motion carries 7-0, Mayor.
Take a motion to adjourn the Board of Equalization. Councilman Sukram.
I'll make that motion.
Councilman Vaughn.
I will second.
Cast your votes to adjourn.
Motion carries 7-0, Mayor.
We are adjourned. I'll go ahead and open up the City Council regular meeting. The time is 7:03. Again, the Opens Meeting Act is posted on the back wall next to the agendas. This time we'll have a roll call for the City Council regular meeting.
7 members are present, Mayor.
For my comments tonight, I would like to honor our September 2025 service awards. We do have 5 individuals. First, we have Dave McArdle, 40 years of service. Dave was hired in 1985 as a parks maintenance worker. He transitioned into a construction and maintenance supervisor role in 1986 until he was promoted to his current role as the parks maintenance supervisor in 1997. John Gieselman Jr., 25 years of service. John was hired as a police officer in 2000. He was promoted to his current role as police sergeant in 2015. Juan Navarez, 10 years of service. Juan was hired in 2015 as a power plant operator 1. And as of 2019, Juan transferred to a utility worker position at the power plant. Jacob Cleveman, 5 years of service. Jake started as a utility worker with the water department in 2020. He was promoted to his current role as water and sewer service worker in 2022. And then Daniel Moaning, 5 years of service. Daniel has been with the city as of 2020 in the library technology specialist role. So I want to thank these 5 individuals. They were not able to make it here tonight, but again, 40 years, 25, 10, and 5 and 5. Appreciate their, again, loyalty to our community. Right. That'll conclude my comments, and we will again move on to item 1, which is a motion to adopt the current agenda for September 30th, 2025 City Council regular meeting. Councilman Sucro.
I'll make the motion to adopt the current agenda for September 30th, 2025.
Councilman Vaughn.
I will second.
Cast your votes.
Motion carries 7-0, Mayor.
Moving on to our appointments this evening, move to confirm the appointment of Courtney Ertl to the as a police detective per my recommendation. Again, it is my honor tonight to present Courtney Ertl as our new police detective here at the city of Fremont. Courtney has went through all the civil service requirements and again is more than qualified to take this role in our department. And so I'd like to now have Deputy Chief Burkoffer come up to give a little report on Courtney.
Mr. Mayor, council members. It's my privilege to be here again this month for promotion. The process to be selected for promotion detective is a long process requiring a significant amount of time to be spent reading, studying, and preparing for testing and interviews. Officer Ertl dedicated her time and energy to this process, which has resulted in her name being brought before you tonight for the promotion to the rank of detective. We want to take the opportunity now to recognize Officer Ertl and tell you a little bit about her. Officer Ertl earned her Bachelor of Arts degree, dual majoring in criminal justice and psychology from Iowa State University in December of 2015. After graduating from Iowa State, Officer Ertl worked as a security officer in West Des Moines, Iowa. She eventually moved to Omaha, Nebraska, where she accepted a position as a senior specialist in corporate security and safety at First National Bank. She worked there until her appointment as a police officer on February 12, 2018. As an officer in the patrol division, she is currently assigned to the night shift, where she has been assigned for the last 7 years. Officer Ertl believes in giving back to the community and tries to participate in Shop with a Cop every December, an event that is geared towards underprivileged youth. While serving at the Fremont Police Department, Officer Ertl has been awarded the Specialized Unit Ribbon for her participation in the field training program, in which she assists in the training of newly hired officers. In 2024, Officer Ertl was presented with the MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving Award for her work in removing drunk drivers from the Fremont roadways. Officer Ertl believes her greatest career accomplishment to date was being selected as a field training officer. While assigned to the patrol division, Officer Ertl recognized the need for the next generation of officers to be properly trained to face the various dangers of this career. She feels honored to be entrusted by her department with such an important role in shaping the future of the department.
Thank you very much. Are there any comments or questions for myself or Deputy Chief Burkoffer? If not, I would take a motion to approve this promotion. Councilman Sukram.
I'll make the motion to confirm appointment of Courtney Ertl to police detective.
Councilwoman Ganem.
I second.
Cast your votes.
The motion carries 7-0, Mayor.
Congratulations now, Detective Ertl. Thank you very much. Give her a round of applause. We now have a special ceremony.
Joining Detective Ertl today for the pinning ceremony are her wife, Amanda, and in the back, her son, Eli. Pinning her badge will be her wife.
Thank you again to all the, officers who are joining this evening. Appreciate your service to our community. All right, we'll now move on to our public hearings for this evening is ordinance 5729, conditionally approving the change of zone from AR and UR to PD for the Hammer Handle Residential Project. And so this would be first reading. There'd be a request to suspend rules and move to final reading. And we have our planning director, Jeff Ray, here for our report.
Good evening. So before you, we have a series of items all for the same project. So I'll stay here for those. So the first item is change of zone for a planned development for the Hammer Handle project. It is proposed to put attached single-family units on a Donna Street and an infill project. And to do so, we needed to relax that to have a single family attached. And therefore, the applicant is asking for the plan development to relax those restrictions to allow for a single family home, an attached single family home. So it'll look similar to a duplex, but it'll have a property line right down the middle of it. And they could be sold and or rented. Nice infill project that you'll see as the rest of the other items roll forward. So with that, staff recommends approval, and I'll answer any other questions you potentially.
Questions from the council? Okay, seeing none, I'll open the public hearing on this item. Okay, seeing no comments, I'll close the public hearing. Are there any additional comments from council? If there aren't, I would take a motion. Again, this is conditionally approving the change of zone from AR and UR to PD for the Hammer Handle Residential Project. Councilman Sukram.
Make a motion on ordinance 5729.
Councilman Horner.
I'll second.
Motion carries 7-0, Mayor.
First reading.
Ordinance number 5729, an ordinance of the city of Fremont, Nebraska, amending ordinance number 5427 as it pertains to the zoning map to rezone the property generally located at Donna Street and South Howard Street from AR Auto Urban Residential to AR with a PD plan development overlay zoning district and providing for a repeal of ordinances in conflict with, providing for severability and providing for an effective date. First reading.
There is a request to suspend rules on this item. I would take a motion in regards to that. Councilman Sukram.
I'll make a request to suspend rules and move to final reading.
Councilman Horner.
I'll second.
Cast your votes.
Motion carries 7-0, Mayor.
Final reading.
Ordinance number 5729, an ordinance of the city of Fremont, Nebraska, amending ordinance number 5427 as it pertains to the zoning map to rezone the property generally located at Donna Street and South Howard Street from AR Auto Urban Residential to AR with PD plan development overlay zoning district and providing for repeal of ordinance in conflict with, providing for severability and providing for an effective date. Final read.
Okay, cast your final vote on ordinance 5729.
Motion carries 7-0, Mayor. Ordinance number 5729 is approved.
Item 4 is ordinance 5727 for a change of zone from UR to AR for the Hammer Handle Residential Project Base Zoning District. Again, this is first reading with a request to suspend rules and move to final reading. Staff report.
Again, Mayor and Council, part of this project was zoned UR, and we want the entire base zone to be AR. So the portion south of projected Donna Street will all have the AR base, the auto residential zone, instead of having two different zoning districts with the plan development overlay that you just approved. This is consistent with the comprehensive plan still being for residential. And again, it's that infill project that we have a subdivision coming that would all then comply with this underlying base zone and the PD.
Thank you. Are there any questions for staff on this item? Okay, I'll now open the public hearing on this item. Seeing no comments, I'll close the public hearing. Are there any additional comments from council? Councilman Horner.
No comments, Mayor. If there are no further comments, I would just make the motion that we Approve ordinance 5727 for a change of zone from UR to AR for the Hammer Handle Residential Project Base Zoning District.
Councilman Sukram,
I will second that.
cast your votes.
The motion carries 7-0, Mayor. Ordinance number 5727, an ordinance of the city of Fremont, Nebraska, amending ordinance number 5427 as it pertains to the zoning map to rezone a portion of the Hammer Handle project generally located south of Donna Street and South Howard Street from UR Urban Residential to AR Auto Urban Residential, providing for repeal of ordinances in conflict with, providing for severability, and providing an effective date first read.
There is a request to suspend rules and move to final reading. I would take a motion in regards to that. Councilman Vaughn,
So moved.
Councilman Horner,
Second.
okay.
Motion carries 7-0, Mayor. Ordinance number 5727, an ordinance of the city of Fremont, Nebraska, amending ordinance number 5427 as it pertains to the zoning map to rezone a portion of the Hammer Handle project generally located south of Donna Street and South Howard Street from UR Urban Residential to AR Auto Urban Residential, providing for repeal of ordinances in conflict with, providing for severability, and providing an effective date final read.
Cast your final vote now for ordinance 5727.
Motion carries 7-0, Mayor. Ordinance number 5727 is approved.
Item 5 is resolution 2025-232, conditionally approving the preliminary plat for the Hammer Handle Residential Project. Staff report.
All right. Again, this is the preliminary plat that identifies the residential lots that I briefly discussed, those 42 lots to provide 42 attached single-family homes. It also provides for drainage basin that has been approved by the engineering department. The street widths and sidewalks are required to match the existing Donna Street, both to the east and the west, as this would ultimately fill in that gap, as well as project Howard Street further south. The applicant has also asked for a waiver of block length. Staff is fully supportive of that. There's really no way to extend further to the south due to the railroad tracks. The physical features there don't make sense. So a block waiver is supported by staff in this situation. We feel that it was very appropriate to do that and allowed for the continuation of that block. So it's met all of the engineering requirements, and we feel that it's ready for approval.
Questions? Seeing none, I'll open the public hearing.
Sorry, Mayor.
Oh,
I got one in right there before you said that.
okay. Go ahead and I'll reopen it.
Just a quick question, and I believe Mr. Fields is kind of over there blocked by the pillar, so I can't see him. But this is really a question for you, Jeff. I talked to Mr. Fields earlier today. You had mentioned that there was a requirement to match sidewalk width with the existing at Donna. Is that the 4 foot, or is it going to be 5 foot? Because there's a little bit of a discrepancy in the language.
Yeah, so the UDC, our code and staff's recommendation is to meet the minimum code of 4 feet. The applicant has proposed in their covenants that it would be 5 feet. It would really be their option to do that. But
Okay,
4
so
feet
you'd
is
be
all
open
that is-
to it if they wanted to do it then?
4 feet is all that's required, but they could exceed that
Okay.
and go beyond the
All right.
standard if they so
All right,
should choose
thank you.
to.
Any other questions or comments at this point? Okay, now I'll open the public hearing on this. Okay, see no comments, I'll close the public hearing. Any additional comments from council on this item? If there are none, I'd take a motion to approve the preliminary plat. Councilman Sukram,
I'll make a motion on resolution 2025-232.
Councilman Peterson,
I'd like to second that.
Motion carries 7-0, Mayor.
Now, item 6 is resolution 2025-233, conditionally approving the final plat for the Hammer Handle residential project. And we'll have staff report on this.
Again, the final plat here is in conformance with the zoning that was just approved for the AR as well as the PD to build 42 attached single-family homes on the infill street, Donna Street. Staff has reviewed the landscape plan, the grading plan, and drainage plans. All are in compliance with our standards, as well as everything's in compliance with the standards, with the exception of the waiver of block length that we recommend to be approved based off of what I just described on the preliminary plat. And the final plat is in conformance with the preliminary plat.
Questions on the final plat? Councilman Horner.
No question, Mr. Mayor. I just want to make a comment, and I just, I'm excited to see this kind of thing happen in the city, and I just want to say thank you to Mr. Fields for sticking with it. I know you've been at this for a while on this particular lot or parcel, so thank you for sticking with it and bringing this to this stage, and I wish you all the best on getting it done. But this is a good thing for us, and I mean, this is hopefully it's going to hit right in that sweet spot where we need for housing. So again, thank you.
Councilwoman Lathrop.
Councilman Horner beat me to the punch on that. I wanted to say thank you also, and I think it's a great project. So thank you.
Okay, I'll now open the public hearing on this item.
Go ahead.
Yeah, right up here. Yep. State your name and address. Go ahead.
Name is Robert Fields, 13761 US Highway 30 in Blair. We're probably a long time doing this only because I'm stubborn. And I brought in something that was maybe a little bit overdone in that area. But we really came out with staff working with us, and of course, working individually with the various council members to come up with what I think is going to be a really nice housing project. It's not as grandiose as what I would have preferred, but it is really, really nice. We also are doing some things that are a little bit new to the city. We're doing basements, and they will be wooden engineered basements. They call them permanent wood foundations. So it'll be the first time that you see those here. We've been doing them, and I say we, builders in the Minnesota area have been doing them for years. So I'm excited about doing that here. It gives people a lot more options for storage, for future improvements of the property. And of course, they're much warmer than a slab on grade. So we're looking forward to having that available. The other thing that we're doing is we're put in all of these, call them twin homes, if you will, have double garages, a little bit larger double garage, and the garages and the buildings are set back further from the street, so they're able to park off street to additional vehicles. So I think that's a real improvement. We heard a lot of complaints about other subdivisions that were having issues with parking. Well, we didn't want to have that here. So we took advantage of the redesigns that we've been undertaking to meet with staff and work that out. The 5-foot sidewalks are a reality. We have yet to work with the post office. Did talk a little bit with Blair about that, Blair Horner about that, as far as whether or not we're going to have cluster boxes, so they'll allow, because it's aimed at a 55 and over on the north side of the street, north side of Donna, whether or not that will be allowed to be delivered to the mailboxes on the street. So we've got to work those kinds of details out, but we are going to hit the ground running now and try and have these up and operating just as soon as we can. So I want to thank the council for their patience and for all of the input that we've gotten in the last 3 years. Okay, and I can take any questions if you'd like.
Councilman Horner.
Again, not so much as a question. I just want to point out that there's some subtle things here, and if you're not, and I'm still not well versed, but I am learning. I'm coming up to speed. You you have you had a setback of 20 foot, I believe, is what you had to meet. You went to a 30 foot setback on the front there to allow that additional parking in the driveway. And that's, I mean, that's huge. That's just not something that you honestly see done a lot. And to give that much more parking area there so that, you hopefully don't have the same level of street parking that we see in some of these other neighborhoods. And I believe the streets are a little wider too. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, thank you.
Councilwoman Ganem.
No, I will just add another comment too, because as I read through it, it seemed as though it was very thoughtfully done. And certainly the changes adjusted for issues. We always have a water issue. So when I read through that, I appreciate that you certainly addressed that issue as well.
Any other questions for the applicant? Thank you very much. Any other comments from the public? I'll close the public hearing. I'll just add, we recently did a housing study. I think it was a couple of years ago that said we need an additional 1,000 units of housing by 2035. And so as you look at Fremont and how we're growing and the need for housing, projects like this that Mr. Fields is providing fits right in that affordable quality housing that we really need in our community. And so I also want to echo, I appreciate, working with the city, all the changes that he made. This did take some time to get to this point, but as Blair pointed out, there's a lot of unique things about this development, where it's located and what was done to be able to accomplish this. And, to be able to add this much housing to our community in this area is a great benefit to Fremont. And it takes people like Mr. Fields willing to step up, put in the investment, put in the work. And, we really appreciate it. So thank you very much. And I look forward to this being a great success for our community. I take a motion if there's one. Councilman Sukram.
I'll make a motion on resolution 2025-233.
Councilman Vaughn.
I will second.
Motion carries 7-0, Mayor.
Moving on to the consent agenda, all items in the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or a citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Are there any other items to be removed from the consent agenda by council or staff at this point? Any items from the public to be removed? If there are no items, I would take a motion to approve the consent agenda. Councilman Horner.
I will make that motion.
Councilman Sukram.
I will second.
Cast your votes.
Motion carries 7-0, Mayor.
Moving on to new business, item 19 is ordinance 5728 to issue a combined utilities revenue bond as a promissory note to the Nebraska Department of Water, Energy, and Environment for the lead line replacement loan agreement. Again, this is first reading. There is a request to suspend rules and go to final reading of our staff report.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, Angie Olson, Grant Coordinator. So we did receive funding and a funding award in the amount of $5.6 million, which will be is forgivable for lead line replacement service line costs. And then the remaining portion of 2.4 million is repayable at 0% interest over the course of 40 years. And we're bringing these two items tonight and asking that it be moved to third reading so that the loan agreement, which is the next item on the agenda, they can all be kind of packaged together in the same council minutes. And I'm here to answer any questions, as is Jeff Shanahan.
Questions on this item from the council? Councilman Horner.
Thank you, Mayor. Angie, I just wanted to make sure that I am reading this right. $5.6 million can be forgiven, and the remainder of that loan would be a zero interest loan, 40 years.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. And this would be something that, so this is for the ordinance that will attach as a promissory note to the loan agreement itself, to the Department of Water, Energy and Environment. And we will be bringing back more because it's such a long project that this caps at, I believe, 4 years, and then we will do basically a similar thing, but it is all covers the $5.6 million forgivable portion, and then 2.4%, which is repayable, 0% interest for a 40-year period. That also allows us to be flexible because sometimes rules and laws change. This one's coming as a requirement of the National Environmental Policy Act, so that kind of allows some flexibility there.
Any other questions from the council? Anybody here to speak on this item from the public? Okay. Are there any additional comments from council on this item? Not, I would take a motion. Councilman Sukram,
Make a motion on ordinance 5728.
Councilman Horner,
I'll second.
cast your votes.
The motion carries 7-0, Mayor. Ordinance number 5728, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of a combined utilities revenue bond series 2025B of the city of Fremont, Nebraska in their aggregate principal amount of $8 million in the form of a promissory note issued to evidence indebtedness to the Nebraska Department of Water, Energy and Environment, approving the form of said bond issued as a single promissory note and related loan contract, pledging and hypothecating the revenue and earnings of the combined electric system, water system, sewer system, and gas system of said city for the payment of said bond and the interest thereon, providing for the issuance and sale of said bond, authorizing the delivery of said bond to the Nebraska Department of Water, Energy and Environment, determining that interest on said bond shall not be excludable from gross income for the purposes of federal income taxation, providing for the disposition of the proceeds of said bond, and ordering the publication of this ordinance in pamphlet form. First read.
There is a request to suspend rules and move to final reading. Councilman Sukram,
Make the request to suspend rules and hold final reading.
Councilman Horner,
I'll second.
cast your votes.
That motion carries 7-0, Mayor. Ordinance number 5728, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of a combined utilities revenue bond series 2025B of the city of Fremont, Nebraska in the aggregate principal amount of $8 million in the form of a promissory note issued to evidence indebtedness to the Nebraska Department of Water, Energy and Environment, approving the form of said bond issued as a single promissory note and related loan contract, pledging and hypothecating the revenue and earnings of the combined electric system, water system, sewer system, and gas system of said city for the payment of said bond and the interest thereon, providing for the issuance and sale of said bond, authorizing the delivery of said bond to the Nebraska Department of Water, Energy and Environment, determining that interest on said bond shall not be excludable from gross income for the purposes of federal income taxation, providing for the disposition of the proceeds of said bond, and ordering the publication of this ordinance in pamphlet form. Final reading.
Okay, cast your final vote.
The motion carries 7-0, Mayor. Ordinance number 5728 is approved.
Item 20 is resolution 2025-247, authorizing the signature of loan agreement D3-11713 with the Nebraska Department of Water, Energy and Environment for the lead line replacement project as required under the National Environmental Act and estimated at $8 million.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, Angie Olson, Grant Coordinator. So this tags on to the last agenda item. This is the actual loan agreement. And the promissory note that was just approved, that ordinance will become part of the this loan agreement. This is for the lead line replacement project. And everything else is similar to the last item. I'm here to answer any questions.
Any questions on this item from the council? Any comments from the public on this? There's no additional comments from council. I take a motion. Councilman Sukram,
Make a motion on resolution 2025-247.
Councilwoman Ganem,
I second.
The motion carries 7-0, Mayor.
Item 21 is resolution 2025-248, awarding the contract to Constructors, Inc. for Luther Road South Phase 2 project, the amount of $579,472.02. While their staff report from Troy Shaven.
South of Morningside, Luther is extended about 300 feet. It goes from that extension south to Theo, which is basically the furthest south property line of Deerfield on the west and the furthest south property line of the first phase of Morningside Point subdivision on the east side. The city council previously voted that the city would pay for these improvements. There were 4 bids. Constructors Inc. was the lowest bid, $579,472.02, which is who staff is recommending award to. Like I said, funds are budgeted. I can take any questions.
You have a question?
Not a question so much as a comment. We do have,
I'm sorry.
that's okay. We do have, the contract did not make it into the backup, so we would need a motion to receive the contract documents for this project if council's willing to make that motion.
Thank you. Yes, Councilman Sukram.
Motion to receive?
Okay, Councilman Horner.
I'll second.
Councilmember Von Baron, we need your vote. Thank you.
The motion carries 7-0, Mayor.
We want to pass them out. Thank you, sir. Okay. Is there anything else, Troy, you have to add? Councilman Horner, go ahead.
I just had one question, just so I've got it in my head on what we're approving here. How much of that Luther Road segment is phase 2? I mean, how much roadway are we talking about?
Linear feet, I guess I don't have that. It's the south property line of where Deerfield is developed to. There's not a road there now. Also, the Morningside Point on the east side, there's one house that's built on the very, very end, on the very south side. On the east side, there is one house there. It's basically to the street width beyond that house. It would be 50 feet beyond that house. It's not all the way, it's a little more than a third of the way to Old Highway 8. It's not the whole lane. It's not even close to the whole lane.
Any comments from the public on this item? Any additional questions or comments from council on this item? Councilman Horner.
If there are no additional comments or questions, Mayor, I would make a motion that we approve resolution 2025-248, awarding contract to Constructors Incorporated for the Luther Road South.
Councilman Vaughn.
And I would second.
The motion carries 7-0, Mayor.
Now, item 22 is resolution 2025-249, adopting the updated cash reserve policy, which supersedes resolution 2021-067 and ensures continued compliance with GFOA best practices and Nebraska revised statutes. Jen
Hello.
Knapp.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, Jennifer Knapp, Finance Director. This cash reserve policy changes a few key items that I wanted to just go through, and then I'll open it up for any questions. Number one is the previous policy. It was 25% of next year's budgeted revenue. That is 3 months. The GFOA recommends 2, so the new policy is recommending 2. It also indicates that we will look at revenues or expenditures, whichever is more predictable. The reason I like this is that the way that it's worded now in the second year of a budget cycle, when we don't have next year's budgeted revenues, it makes it difficult to calculate on an annual basis what the reserve should be. In addition, the other big item is that we do have some funds that are solely for use in the general fund, and those two exist in the sales tax fund, the property tax reserves, and also the public safety section. And since those are for sole use of the general fund, the new policy indicates, and we worked with our auditors on this, that that portion would be calculated as part of what the general fund reserves are, even while they live in the other fund. And we like to keep them in the other fund because then we know what we have for public safety and what we have for property tax reserves. On the Department of Utilities side, we wanted to specifically call out, just like when S&B calculates our coverage, when someone looks at our credit worthiness and the way that the coverage is calculated in the bonds, it does not include on the Department of Utility side expenses that are non-cash expenses like depreciation expense. So while that was implied in the old policy, we really wanted to call that out. So we still have 8 months that we're asking for in the utility side, and that helps ensure that we've got the kind of coverage that we need for utilities and for our rating, and then also meet the requirements of the city. The last thing is that in the other policy, it didn't really indicate what mechanism we had when we go below the reserves. Are we breaking the law? Are we, what is it? And the thing is, when we go below the reserves, then we need to have a mechanism to replenish those reserves. And this indicates on the city side that we have 1 to 3 years, and indicates how we can do that. And on the DU side, because typically those projects are bigger, think of the wastewater project as an example. City council voted to go below the reserves for that fund. And so we've indicated 5 years to get those replenished. Because when we go below on the utility side, we don't want to all of a sudden have to really raise rates and replenish it in a year. We want to be able to do that in a way that makes sense for our ratepayers. So I am available for any questions.
Questions? Councilman Von Buren.
Yeah, and I did have a question from a resident asking, I think we've already resolved that budget, but immigration ordinance funds would not be considered part of the pool of, basically that's a fixed pool, that's a fixed reserve that would not be tapped into or used for any other purpose.
That's correct. And specifically within the policy, we indicate the different types, and we've got committed, assigned, unassigned. We also have non-spendable and restricted, and we eliminate those types of restrictions. So for the general fund, as an example, we would take the fund balance, we'd remove prepaids, which is a non-spendable. We'd remove the immigration ordinance, and then we'd remove what we committed from the committed resolution that we did, and then what's left is the reserve.
Good. Yeah, I thought so, but appreciate you confirming that. Thanks.
Yep.
Any other questions at this point? Any comments from the public on this item? There's no other comments from council. I'd take a motion. Councilman Sukram.
I'll make a motion on resolution 2025-249.
Councilwoman Ganem.
I second.
Cast your votes.
The motion carries 7-0, Mayor.
I would take a motion to adjourn. Councilman Sukram.
I'll make that motion.
Councilman Vaughn.
Second.
That motion carries 7-0, Mayor.
We are adjourned. Have a good night, everybody.